Do not work for money. Well, Andreas, I need that paycheck for rent, for groceries. Yes, I understand this. The important part of this message is just to not be blinded by that paycheck, because in the long run this will stifle your development and it will hinder your future earnings potential greatly. What do I mean with this? Well, let's give some practical examples in this video. Let me tell some stories about some of the learnings I've taken from previous jobs, and let me tell you some stories about what I see people in my circle doing with the knowledge that they're gaining from work experience, because it's super important, in my opinion, to also focus on learning, to not just get stuck on that paycheck, to be in that comfort zone, but to continue to push yourself. How can this look? Well, for example, I used to work at Dell in the past, selling data centers. I joined after graduating, and I would do this business development role, just calling, setting appointments for the account executives to take, the meeting and bring in the business, so to say. And in that role, I learned to sell. I learned to set appointments. I learned to generate interest from another person regarding a product in this case, and to speak properly, to not be nervous when picking up the phone, when sending an email, learning to ask for things. And after about a year, I was super comfortable doing this, and I could have continued to do so, generate about $1 million in pipeline dollars every quarter, and be super happy about that. However, I choose to push and to get promoted into more of a account manager role, where I would handle deals on my own. In the beginning, super nervous, having the appointment, talking to a much older gentleman, an IT manager or something like this, negotiating back and forth, managing a super complex deal, constantly having to ask for advice from more senior colleagues, and just continuously learning. After a while, I got comfortable with that as well, and decided to continue to push my boundary even further by taking employment at Google. And this way of continually improving my own skill set is what's enabled me to be able to acquire, right now, for now, a higher and higher paycheck, but also in terms of, alright, what am I learning at these jobs, these industries? For example, Google now, learning Google Ads, being an expert on this. That's a potential product that I could, take to market, that I could sell the service of managing somebody's Google Ads account in the future. So from learning to set appointments, to generate interest, learning how to sell, to learning about a specific type of service, all these are marketable skills that increase the value on my time, and it's something that I can utilize in the future to not be dependent on a paycheck, to do something on my own. What's some examples of people in my circle that I've seen where people have taken this knowledge, this experience that they gain from a job to do their own thing? Well, one person was in consulting, doing for a specific vertical and making sure to implement and drive through a lot of projects in this case. I don't want to give too many details, but this person started their own company in this vertical, giving advice, coaching, and doing project implementations. So basically doing what he was doing already in his role, but then just outsourcing it to being an independent employee. I think you have like a special number code for that. If you're an American viewer, you call it a 507 or something like that. I don't remember exactly now. Comment down in the comments below if you remember what it is. But you're basically being an independent contractor in this case, doing what you've always been doing, only this time for yourself and not for a company. Another person close to me used to work at a real estate agency, being a realtor, selling properties, doing that for many years, and then eventually buying a realtor firm, like a franchise, together with some friends, and starting doing this on his own. So now doing what he's always been doing, selling apartments, selling houses, only this time not for a company but for himself. Are you starting to see a pattern yet? Many people who are starting their own businesses, becoming masters of their own time, their own destinies, their own income, just do what they have always done in a professional setting, only this time they take a risk, they set out for themselves, they have developed the skill sets needed to continue to do what they always been doing, only this case for themselves. They're confident they will get clients, they're confident in the value that they can provide to society. And this does not need to be white collar work. You can do this in constructions, for example. I hear a lot of stories from older gentlemen who set out to start their own firms in carpentry, for example, or in the electrical field, managing the connections in the walls or whatever important work you do as an electrician. You know, you're highly skilled, you have a marketable experience, something that society is willing to pay for, and by doing this on your own, well, then you basically freed yourself from the system. However, it should be said that there's one super important part in this that's needed, whatever business you're deciding to do or how you're deciding to generate income on your own. And that's the sales part. You will never get away from it. It's super important to be able to bring in clients. Whether it's a carpenter, you need to convince the person who owns the house and wants to make a porch, for example, that you're the right man or woman for the job. Or whether it's doing, for example, Google Ads, you need to be able to call up the company, speak with the marketing division, do maybe an audit of the Google Ads account and look, is there potential to help and improve the marketing, and then take it from there to be able to point out the need and point out a correct solution for that need. So selling is one of those super crucial skills that you will always need. You will always need this, and it's one of the easiest ways to jumpstart, kickstart, springboard, whatever you want to say, your income into the higher levels. Because, you know, what is a business? Well, the most important thing is revenue in. It's not, you know, oh, I'm starting a business, now I buy my own website, and now I buy makeup, and I have 10 cartons of makeup here, and I have a fancy website, and I have a nice office. No, all that's just money out. The most important thing, always, money in. And regarding earning more, just, you know, in the beginning of your career, when you're still learning, when you're still acquiring new skills, and when you're not yet confident to set out of your own, well, what positions are the ones that are paying the most? Well, it's the core positions that are closest tied to the cash flow of the business, closest tied to money in. For example, let's say that you're a doctor at a medical practitioner. Well, the core service, that's taking care of patients. Of course, you're super closely tied to the cash flow of that particular establishment. Or let's say that you work in, for example, as I did, selling data centers. Well, you could either be the engineer that's working on the core product, the super important data center part, or you could be a salesperson selling that important data center part. Those roles continue to get pay increases and they continue to be prioritized. However, other roles such as sales support, for example, in my case, that role was made redundant, it was not needed anymore, and it was moved to a lower cost country. So I was able to see that firsthand, and that's something that's been a trend in society for quite some time now, where less important, quote unquote, like roles that are away from the cash flow, away from the core of the business, is being either automated, moved abroad, outsourced, and just being less prioritized in terms of pay. So it's really important to understand economics and understand, all right, how can I position myself in a way that I am super important for the company, in this case to generate more pay. And one way of doing that is understanding the cash flow in the company and positioning yourself close to that cash flow. You want to be an income generator, because an income generator will always be prioritized, whereas if you're a cost on the income statement, you're just an expense, you will always find ways to make you redundant, find ways to automate you away, and you will really never have that job security that so many people crave, that so many people want. It's all a lie, to be frank. You never have your job security unless you are out on your own. However, we need to take time and explore this for ourselves, and I think that after a while in the workforce, most of us find this to be true from learned experiences. So I hope you gained a lot today, hearing some experiences, from me and my circle regarding how to upskill yourself and earn more money, make more money. That way you have more money to invest. Also remember, cut down those costs, and pretty soon you will be able to retire early with financial independence. Alright, that's been it for this video, and as always, I hope you guys make a ton of money, whatever investments you decide to make. Take care now. Bye bye.